Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. It begins with farmer Jack Taggart telling his youngest son Billy to fasten scarecrows to their poles despite them clearly not working. While the dad attempts to get his busted post puncher working and his eldest son Jack Jr. the truck, Billy thinks the scarecrow just looked at him, so he curiously walks over to check it out. The family dog begins barking towards it as Bill gets close enough to see the creature's moving talons, causing him to run back to the house. The demonic creeper leaps off the post but first flies overhead to smell his victim's fear, then lands on Billy's back and drags him screaming through the cornfield to his lair. Both Jacks rush to save him, but when they get in range the creeper's able to avoid them by leaping into the sky and flying away. While searching around they uncover a bone-handled dagger dropped by the creeper that depicts him snatching a person. When it displays a supernatural ability to project itself forward, they decide to weld the demonic weapon to the head of a harpoon. As Jack makes more, Jr. attaches the post puncher to the truck bed for a homemade harpoon gun and they prepare to go hunting. On the final day of the creeper's feeding frenzy before he goes into hibernation, a team of basketball players and cheerleaders are returning home in high spirits after winning their championship. The only one not celebrating with the rest, Scotty, who's upset that he didn't get enough game time, so he sits alone sulking. His girlfriend Rhonda sits with her friend Chelsea, and when a third cheerleader, Minxie, asks about Scott's mental health, they suddenly get a flat tire. The driver Betty and the coaches Charlie and Mr. Barnes hop out to investigate, only to discover a makeshift shuriken made out of razor-sharp bones. They find a tooth embedded in it, and when getting back on board, Charlie tells Barnes to toss it away before he gets an infection. The school's reporter Izzy and the rest of the students overhear on the radio that 4 days ago authorities found an abandoned church containing hundreds of dead bodies dating all the way back to the 1800s. When the adults take over to try radio for help, the teens either take a bathroom break or relax on the bus roof getting a tan. One of the kids, Spencer, implies that he thinks Izzy's gay for always writing about Dante while accidentally pissing on the team's manager Bucky. The cheerleaders get caught by Charlie sneaking cigarettes when he orders them back on the bus, but it's the driver who supplied them. The last student to finish peeing's Kimball, who the creeper flies over, making him jump at a flock of birds, causing the whole team to laugh at him. The coaches use the spare to get the bus back on the road, and when night falls, Rhonda attempts to comfort her boyfriend. He says that he thinks that Charlie would play him more if he were black, then snaps at the overhearing Deaundre for looking at him. Meanwhile, Minxie falls asleep and dreams about the creeper's victim Darius frantically pointing towards a cornfield. He transforms into the more recent victim Billy, who continues to warn Minxie about the creeper that she watches toss another shuriken into the tire, and at that moment the bus in real life comes to a screeching halt. Charlie puts out the flares and informs a passing couple to tell authorities about their situation while Betty checks out the tire. This one of the creeper's shurikens contains Darius' belly button, so a nervous Barnes tells everyone to get back on board. Before they do, the creeper snatches up Charlie from the road without any of the distracted group witnessing what took him. Barnes demands Scott take the team back on the bus while he and Betty call out into the darkness while searching for Charlie. The next one to be taken is Betty, so the lone adult Barnes runs to the bus to ask the team what they saw, when the creeper tries to do the same to him, digging its talons into his shoulders. Barnes holds on as his team tries save him, but the creeper rips him away, covering Scotty in blood and sending the kids scrambling to seal the doors and windows. Scott's unable to answer any of the team's questions, and his only response to what he saw was that the creeper has big frickin' wings. An hour passes when he suggests that they make a run for the nearest farm, but everyone protests the idea, including Izzy, who Scott almost punches for calling him an idiot, but his own teammate Dee intervenes. They almost fight themselves when he suspects that Scotty wants to call him something but get interrupted by Minxie noticing the creeper sniffing at the doors. He looks through the window above Spencer, sniffing him out, then makes his way to the rear where he gestures to which one he wants. He gives them various signals to move out of the way until he gets to Dee and gets so excited that he licks the window. The creeper starts shaking the bus until a screw breaks free from the door, but then just climbs back onto the roof and flies away again. Suddenly Minxie faints into another dream where she wakes up at the Taggart's farm with the creeper playing the scarecrow. Derry appears and warns her that every 23 years for 23 days it gets to feed, when his eyes appear missing and the creeper's wings shock Minxie awake. She explains that tonight's the final night of the 23 days that the creeper has to retrieve the body parts of the certain students that he wants. Scotty thinks that Minxie's crazy, but the ones that got an eyeballing like Dee and Spencer just want to wait the final night out. Meanwhile, Jack hears police chatter about strange occurrences on the highway and takes off with his son, hoping to catch the creeper. They come across the car that Charlie asked to get help earlier, but the creepers pried the roof off like a tin can and the people are missing. Bucky's been trying to get anyone on the radio, and luckily the Jacks have come into range to receive their distress call. The senior assures them he'll call the police but turns off the radio and directs his son to drive as he wants his revenge first. Everyone on the bus celebrates getting rescued when the creeper suddenly punches through the roof, grabbing Bucky's head. He tries to pull him through, but Rhonda uses one of the team's javelins to impale the creeper straight through his head, releasing Bucky. The badly damaged immortal removes half of his skull along with the spear and flies into the sky before crashing back down on the bus. It appears to be dead, but they're unable to escape the bus as the creeper wasn't trying to get in when it broke the bolt but was making sure they couldn't get out. A wing collapses through the dent in the roof, splitting the group in half, but they need to pass it to reach the now open front doors. When it gets to Dante, the wing traps him inside and the creeper rips his head clean off before using it to replace his own damaged one. He throws it at Rhonda and then uses his claw hood to reach into his chest and pull out the fresh replacement. As soon as it attaches to the neck, it transforms into the familiar face and the regenerated creeper disappears into the night sky. Now Scotty suggests kicking out everyone that the creeper picked, but Dee pins him to the ground and says that he's just as likely a target as the rest of them. He leads a large group off the bus, including Rhonda, who now sees what a coward her boyfriend is, and leaves him alone with a few other students. Not wanting to remain there with the hole in the roof, Scotty decides to join them, feeling safer in numbers when Izzy notices the creep hovering above. They all run back to the bus for safety, but the young Johnny won't open the door, so they all flee into a field to get away. The creeper throws another shuriken into the back of Spencer's head, killing him instantly, then goes for Dee, but he trips over a rock, narrowly avoiding being taken. He then hurls a knife into the fleeing Scotty's arm, pinning him against a tree that he's unable to escape from. Izzy, Rhonda, and even a forgiving Deaundre try to pull the knife out as the creeper circles around, but they aren't able to in time and it swoops through, taking Scotty to his death. When the Jacks come across Minxie, she tells them that there's no conventional means to kill it, but Jack Sr. just demands to be taken to the others. Izzy sneaks on board the bus, but the group keep their distance, knowing that the creeper wants him, who returns and attempts to drag him through the roof again, but this time he's saved by the arrival of the Jacks. The wings come out and Jack Sr. fires the harpoon into the creeper's chest, who flies into the sky and pulls the truck into the back of the bus as it tries to dislodge the dagger. Junior steers around it while Senior fights the creeper like he's wrestling a marlin, until the spear dislodges and almost impales Junior before he can get out of the truck. The creeper returns using the bus for cover, but Jack shoots through the windows over the students and nails it into the dirt. It quickly recovers and flies into the sky, toppling the bus and almost crushing the truck again. But when Jack Sr.'s unable to dislodge the rope, he's forced to leap from the back before the creeper destroys it. Meanwhile, Izzy, Rhonda, and Dee find one of the creeper's victims' trucks, but Deaundre is forced to ride in the tray when the handle breaks off and the monster returns. It matches the truck's top speed of nearly 100 miles per hour, so Dee shoots him in the face with a flare gun when he gets too close. When it returns, Izzy drives into the field and throws Rhonda out before telling Dee to stay down and slamming on the brakes. The creeper crashes through the truck, flipping it, throwing Dee from the tray and dismembering one of its wings in the process. The student's leg's broken, and when the truck explodes, the creeper rises from the grass and quickly catches the human's scent. Without a leg, it's forced to leap towards him, but Dee's still unable to escape as he crawls away and it gains on him. He spins and fires his last flare, but the creeper tanks it and pins him to the ground. Its claw hood opens to intimidate Dee, however the kid holds it back long enough that the Jacks arrive and nail it in the forehead with a harpoon. The vengeful father takes another one and begins jabbing at the immortal repeatedly, until its claw hood closes over and the creeper gives Taggart one final stare before being forced into hibernation. Minxie explains that the creeper's time simply ran out, but Jack says that it looks pretty dead to him and gives the creep one final stab. The surviving students all return to their normal lives as 23 years passes without any incident or missing people in the area. One day, 3 students stop by the Taggart farm where an adult Jack Jr.'s been charging $5 for a ticket to see the bat out of hell. The tourist attraction shriveled up and sewn back together by the still living Jack Sr., who tells the kids not to touch it. When questioned, he says he killed it with a shot through the heart from his harpoon gun, and noticing his firm grip on it, one of them asks if he's waiting for something, but Jack just says about 3 days, give or take. And the movie ends.